Hello and welcome to MxM Live. We have here with us today Mr. Harish Shriyan and Amit, both executive directors at Network Advertising. This news came in last week and kind of shook the industry, given the Maharathis that Harish and Amit are. So I'm going to get straight into the questioning, not the inquisition. We know a little about network advertising. We don't know too much about network advertising. They do send communiques often enough, but what is it that, the very fact that Vinod Nair has invited you all as to take up leadership positions as executive directors in network, what is the role that is envisaged? What is the path that network is going to take going forward?
Okay, one of the reasons which I thought joining network advertising is it's a full service creative media and a full service agency, and what I believe in that while we are working with the media only agencies, the kind of creative inputs the clients are demanding for a single window agency, and which we are unable to provide because most of the network agencies, they do not have their independent creative agencies, or they may have a creative agency, but the digital creative outputs which were not in a position to produce, and therefore we need to depend on other creative agencies to help us out. So here what happens is a completely independent, they have the full infrastructure with them, and it is it is always better for us when we go along with them as a creative media approach when we go for the businesses. And that is one of the plus point which I thought is available for us at network advertising.
You would of course know better, having spent a fair amount of time the last few years at Omnicom, and which is essentially a media agency. So obviously, the advantages and disadvantages of both a media specific agency and a network agency. So your words obviously on this mean a lot. Mr. Ray, what is your view? What is network going to be doing now that both of you are there?
Okay, firstly, I must say thanks a lot, Pradyuman, to give us a chance to be, instead of sending a documented document, to tell you, in words, at least about the feelings. I think feelings are better expressed through words. That is first, thanks a lot to you and your colleague who's helping us record the whole thing. Thank you a lot. Next is that I really thanks Harish, because there are very few people. See, the people may have experience, people may have worked in large organizations, small organizations, multinational. But as a human being, I think we'll all agree that he's a very distinctly gentleman, soft, and he's been there for a long time without getting, typically a corporate become a person. He's still very human. So we were I'm very fortunate to have Harish as with us. Network is not new to me, and you're right that people have heard of network and they have heard good things, but they don't exactly know network. I have the fortune of being with Vinod for a while, and this is the classical organization which you call an agency, which is there only to solve someone else's problem, to solve and further someone else's cause. It's not about how great I am, how many awards I win, how much billing I do. Because if your principle survives and flourishes, you have to flourish and think. Number two, what Harish touched upon, this full service bit. End of the day, just let's reverse the role. Think of yourself as a client. How many things you have to do? Even you as an entrepreneur, so many things you have to do. For everything you have a vendor. For if you want to do out of home, is a vendor. You have to do X as a vendor. However, nobody is looking at you as a complete problem of your brand or your business. I think therefore maybe this whole split of media creative has happened because of financial reasons. I don't think it has happened because of intellectual reasons. Because if you go back to the origin of this whole split, it happened because of many complicated commission sharing and so on and so forth. I don't think it was an intellectual requirement to split the two. I think from a client's point of view, they would still want to deal with a single point who can understand the brand, understand the problem, and then go forward it. This was my belief. So when we started talking, and Harish just mirrored that thought. Harish just mirrored the thought. And by the way, though people may not consider Mudra as a Omnicom agency, but I have also been part of an Omnicom agency at some point in my life.
No, I know. Of course, you were part of DDB Mudra. You've done some great work with Reliance in the recent past. But one of the factors that is also critical is the scale of the agency. Now, both of you have worked with large agency, and Harish, you've worked with a large agency in a very recent period of time, and clearly that has its advantages. You're now working with a much smaller agency, so does scale really matter, or it doesn't?
When we started, when we started in India as Omnicom operation over here, we didn't even have a single business, and we started from zero. And when we started from zero, no one has ever thought how. I mean, we had some amount of equity in the market. The client has approached us. We approached the client. The client came to us. And it is not just like a size only matters. Yes, size do matter, but end of the day, if you know the kind of your equation with the industry, the kind of benchmarking which you already aware, then I don't think size is an issue. Sometimes what happens is even the broadcasters and all that, they believe that if I share one price, for example, a client X, they think that this become the norm for that agency. And though there is a differential price exists, and the agency will go and ask for this is the price which should be available to me. Whereas in our case, for smaller agencies to start off with, they wouldn't mind giving the much better price than what they're already giving to somebody else. So I don't think size will be an issue for us. But what we need to do is we need to strengthen our client base. And that is what me and Amit are working together now going forward. And we'll see that how we can attract the big advertisers into the network fold, and we want to service them.
One of the factors about size is the fact, if you are large and if you're buying a host of inventory from a certain media entity, then you get great rates. Right? And, we do know that one of the avenues, one of the ways of making money these days is not just commissions or retainerships, but it's also the margins that you get from clients.
See, I believe that because I work with the larger agencies, I know for a fact you already have a contractual obligations, and you just now not your fee, either you're a retainer or you're getting a commission from the client or from the media, right? And that is what we agreed upon. End of the day, whatever that incentives or bulk discounts what you get, and that is proportionally being passed on to the client, and which every agency does that today. So therefore, I'm making that extra buck. I don't think most of any agencies have that option of retaining any money, because you are subject to audit, and this is a part of the contractual obligations.
Are you really serious about the fact that they pass on all discounts to the client?
It is the contractual obligations, and it is end of the day is you are subject to audit. Right? And the audit is by all the is one of the big four. So there is no. Sorry?
Amit is smiling as you're saying this.
Because I want to answer it very differently. Because see, Harish has been part of a large network with a lot of corporate governance built into it, right? While I have worked for large networks also, but I have also worked for free independent organizations like Mudra. In spite of being a DDB company or a Omnicom company, they had a lot of freedom. So I'll answer it in 2-3 ways. Firstly, I'll put the question back to you. You have been part of a larger organization. Now you're an independent. Intuitively, humanly, that you feel much happier being doing what you believe in doing, what you believe is right to do, rather than carrying on doing something whether you believe it or not. So I think there is a little bit of human independence, human freedom that's at play, right? So because I'm just saying size sometimes doesn't allow you that independence. Secondly, let's say today there is a small agency called Vibrant, which is mandated to only handle Reliance Industries business.
Small agency, but owned by big guys.
Right, agreed. But if you can prove that any agency in the world, not in India, there are big agencies in the world, they can get any price. Forget the intellect side at all. And let's assume for a moment, let's park the thought. Media is only about getting the cheapest prices. It has no other role to play. Let's assume for a moment, if any agency can prove that anybody gets a better price than Vibrant, let's open the debate again. And why is it that? Because, so therefore it does not necessarily mean size will always, and for just as a point of reference, you said I've worked with Reliance. I was there at the point when it started. I started Vibrant because at that time they wanted to own an agency. So the way you handle it, it depends. So it's not only about size. How come Reliance, in spite of not having 50,000 crores of advertising budget, still get the best price? In a logic, they should not get the best price. Nah? So therefore, that's a passion that you attach to client success. In this case, Vibrant's own success, right? And the third thing is what tends to happen. What tends to happen in this whole jamboree of volume. Why volume? You just go back to ask that question. Why volume? Because you are answerable to a series of people called shareholders. So just to please some people who have no stake in your business, and I still believe advertising is a creative and an intellectual business. It's not just buying by the kg business. Obviously it's important. You cannot be insensitive to the prices that you get for your clients, but that thing should work. So what has happened in this thing? There are some people like us who still believe in effectiveness at efficiency, not just efficiency. I don't know whether I have answered your question.
No, you have, but you mentioned about buying by the kg. I thought these days it's all become commodity business where you do buy by the kg.
Mr. Shriyan, please answer this commodity thing.
No, I don't think price is an issue at all, Pradyuman. Price is not an issue. End of the day, if you know the benchmarking well, you are in the industry, you know what kind of prices which is available in the market for you. And that is a non-issue for me as far as I am concerned. Price is completely a non-issue for us.
You moved out of Omnicom for a while. You announced it last year and you moved out formally earlier this year. Clearly, you had various options to look at. Right? You could have started your own agency. But you've now decided to align yourself with an agency which has a legacy of 25 years. But it's not a big bang agency. It's not considered among the top 5 or the top 10 or among the hottest creative agencies in the country. So what was in your mind when you took a decision to look at starting a boutique thing, perhaps get the advantage of the honeymoon period and the equity that you have in the market versus aligning yourself with an agency like this, where you've not really acquired the agency or bought stake or whatever, but you just joined?
So the intention is when I left the Omnicom organization, I wanted to be an independent. Okay, and in fact, few of us we came together. We wanted to start our own agency, and we were supposed to launch that agency in the sense, for example, the second week of April or so. But unfortunately, you all know that the COVID has happened. And for any startup organization or any startup companies, when such kind of situation exists, it is always the struggle is much harder. Okay. And I thought here is an organization, they are doing a great work. They are well known and very well entrenched in the market. More than three decades old agency as well. And they have the good client base as well. And I thought with Amit and me coming on board, and there is a huge opportunity for us in the marketplace. And we are not governed by any global diktats. And here is an agency, independent local agency with the full infrastructure, the great team they have, the good bunch of people, everything which is available. Okay. The only thing is we want to strengthen the team. We want to go ahead and acquire some more businesses. And the intention is we also want to come into the big limelight and wanted to make it big. And I thought in the COVID period of time, and if you start as a startup agency, and it will be much tougher to take it forward. So I thought it is a brilliant opportunity, and Amit is well known in the marketplace in any way with this analytical mind, with this great he's a more of a strategy person as well. And the combination of me and Amit coming together and going along with the full network team over there, and it's when you go for pitches and all that, for example, in my earlier company as well. And we don't have the luxury of the creative, we are sitting with the creative agency, though we have the creative partners, but they have their own business goals and all that. Here, what happens here is we are sitting under one roof, everybody is available, they can contribute, and we can really do a good job. And that was the intention to come out to network advertising.
So obviously the attention now is on those various new client announcements that will happen. So, since the discussion must have been on for a while with Vinod before joining network. So are you all set to make announcements in the immediate future?
No, we have not even made any attempt to go to the new client. It's just the beginning, and of course we will work towards that, because the intention is to go big and make some is acquire some new clients, and of course we'll try our best, but wherever possible. But at this point of time, there's nothing which we have not even started to any of the clients or whomever we know. But of course, I mean the priority will be there, and who to go after, how to reach out to them, how we can contribute to their success. So that is always there, and that's the whole intention.
No, I'm sure there are people who, whom you've been servicing for so many years and who have a natural affinity to your style of your business, your relationship. So surely there must be some people who will want to jump ship.
I hope if that happens, that very well. And genuinely, we are not even approaching any of the client at this point of time. It's just the announcement which has happened, and we'll see how it goes. And everyone is you can't even physically go and meet up with the client now. Everything you need to do it on Zoom or it's on the phone itself. But you need to have an opportunity to go and present who you are, what is your strong points as an agency, what are the facilities or resources what you have in the marketplace, and then accordingly we'll reach out to them. Of course, yes, the low hanging fruit will always be there, when you go for a client's meeting, and we'll certainly try our best.
Amit, I must tell you, to get information out of Harish was tough even earlier. So please tell me what's happening.
No, and I must tell you, I initially started by saying that I'm really honored by Harish being there. It's not that network will not, has not been attempting to get business or not getting business. It's the focus was not there. To be honest with you, of course, without business, how will you survive? For example, everyone who comes to network, first thing they say, wow, you have a building of your own, which is a 4-story building. It's your own. My God. Because you know this business, right? This is all people operate mostly out of rental places. So it's a solid agency. So, and the solidity cannot be out of thin air. Except that they have been very, very contented with their brilliance. And brilliance does not necessarily ratified by certain award committee in the country that you are good in this, good in that. So they believed in client results. So nothing changes. Please understand. If you get business, obviously nobody will tell you which are the likely client list. So everyone would have certain list in their mind to say go after or whatever. But you must understand an agency which is not aligned to anybody in globe, especially in the media space. Every day is a challenge. Na? Every work that you do, there is no, my God, my father sitting in France or New York or London to help you out, to bail you out, right? So there is no chance of not doing what you believe you should to do. So while we will go to clients, but we'll have to go and keep on delivering. And some of the clients we have delivered in the past, whatever the scale may be, they will also vouch for us, right? So they will also, if I give a reference, they'll say, yes, these are the kind of people they are. So that's my thing.
You also haven't given me an answer.
No, this is obviously that, I guess that's the norm that people don't tell you before they have signed the business, then they'll send you then they can break your news, like, ye mila, wo mila. Otherwise the fun would go. Na? But I'm saying that what I told you is a journey. It's not how much will we get. Is there a business plan? No. I'm being candid with you. It's not been done on an Excel sheet. This whole thing that we finally came together and we are moving forward is a marriage of minds. It's not a marriage of Excel sheets. What happens in India, all Indians send an Excel sheet to New York or London or whatever that be. They approve or they cut something, they add something, they send it back to you. That's how it operates. Excel sheet is used to fool each other. Here it is purely a marriage of mind. And Harish is sitting here. He comes from a completely different background.
I'll take it at what you are saying, but obviously the expectation is not just from the stakeholders at network, but also from the industry, which has now heard that you all have come together. The expectation is to get some, get the good news, as they say, of some new clients. So, is there some kind of a target that you'll have set yourselves that well, this is what you all want to achieve in this year. I know these are troubled times, but still.
I must tell you before Harish answers it, the network agency was started by a gentleman called Deepak Gera. He passed away, and then Vinod Nair took it over, and now he runs the agency. And so when I first came to meet him, generally we were discussing. We said, what Deepak had written on a piece of paper. We must be the most respected agency. Abhi respected agency में क्या value डालेंगे मैं? बताओ सच में. This is the word of the owner and the MD of that agency. He says the person who started the agency, he used to write it down and hand it over to me. He said that we must be the most respected agency. And I guess respect is not a bad deal, honestly speaking. Apart from it being human and giving you human high, it also makes money. I mean, to be honest with you, this whole adage of honesty is the best policy, etc., etc. I think respect is also a best policy. I mean, just as an analogy, please don't, I don't think I should even be, had the audacity to use his name. This guy was Steve Jobs, before he was Steve Jobs, he used to say, even as that time, when he looked very different, he had John Denver-like hair, to say, "Gosh, we are the biggest startup in the world. We survive for respect." Can you imagine the price premium they charge just because they're honest to God and they have their solution, provide solutions. So I'm just giving an analogy to say that you have to definitely be ruthlessly focused on quality, ruthlessly focused on clients' business, etc., etc. Then automatically it will fall. Now the question is, will it fall in 3 months, 6 months? Don't know, honestly.
And I'm only hoping that people like Pradyuman will help us out, and they will support us to ensure that some big businesses come into our play. And I hope you two will help us out, Pradyuman, because we need everybody's support, all the help, whatever it can be done. But in terms of delivery, rest assured, we are here to deliver. And I'm sure that clients, when they came to us in my previous company in the beginning itself, we have never disappointed anyone.
Clearly, given the fact that both of you are stalwarts of the media agency business, and here you're looking at a full service agency. So is there going to be, are you all going to be doing all parts of that business, or are you all going to be focusing essentially on media agency, that part of the activity?
Yes, media goes without saying in any way, because we are the media people, and therefore the first intent to go after the media business as well. But at the same time, and we would also look at what is the creative and any other option which is available, whether it is a content piece, whether it's a digital only, or it is creative angle, whatever is which we think it is is a decent size, respectful business, we would like to go for it as well. It is not just restricted only to media. Amit, am I right in saying that? Or
just let me know. See, since time you have started interacting, unfortunately the concept of office does not exist anymore. Everything is on video call. But Pradyuman, you must physically see this to happen. It reminds me of old days of when there was to be one single agency. Everybody used to be, sit in one place to discuss the problem. What is the client's problem? Why is this not, being accepted by the market? When Harish is rather, is much, what should I say, later came into the picture, but I have been around. So I saw, why are they doing it? Are they crazy? That means you are putting expensive resources around the table to discuss a problem. So that is what is the thing. So it is not such, but when you finish the discussion, you go back and you do a media piece. Somebody will go and do a video piece. Somebody will do a digital piece. So your functional responsibilities continue to be media, but your ownership of the media, the overall brand problem will not go ahead. I don't know whether I'm able to explain to you.
Yeah, I appreciate what you're saying.
And I just want to draw an analogy, because one advantage of age is you have seen many generations, right? So when Tara Sinha came back from, she used to work, she was the worldwide marketing director. She came back and started Tara Sinha Associates, what is known as McCann Erickson now. So you won't believe, and those days there was only Doordarshan. If spots did not appear closer to the beginning of Chitrahar or Hindi feature film, she used to get a call from the client. She used to take it on us, but to the client, she was responsible for clients' well-being. And that is the spirit. Harish and I keep discussing that we must own the problem. It's not about going only at the time of presentation, ki haan sir, hum log hai, ye hai, wo hai, after that disappear. No.
So tell me, Harish, what is going to be your pitch to people? How, why is it that people should switch from their existing agencies to network now that you all are there?
See, one is what I believe that we have the requisite expertise, requisite experience, and at the same time we have some amount of equation with the client wherever we go. But end of the day, the client will definitely look at what is the end product. Are you going to deliver the kind of stuff what you offer to them, okay? Or what is that how you are different from the rest of the agencies? See, it is very, very easy to say how am I different from the rest of the agencies and all that, okay? And every end of the day, it is more or less everyone is the same, correct? But I know there are kind of clients who may be unhappy with them. They may not be able to service the client's needs what they should be doing. And I have seen that in the many clients, the medium-sized clients, or to be to an extent the large companies, and they're extremely unhappy with the kind of service what they get. And what they do is the big shots will go for the pitches, okay, and they will do that okay, they will once or twice in a year they will meet up with the client, and the rest is everything is being given to the the mid-level or the junior level people. Whereas even while at Omnicom, for example, while I was there, I used to ensure almost every single meeting I used to attend, because that is the kind of service which you would like to provide. And I want to give that assurance to the client. Look, when we get into the business, we mean that, because we respect your business. And at no point of time, I want to keep the client unhappy. And if you look at right from day one, when we pitch for the business, the clients who were there in day one at Omnicom, and they were with us even today, for example. And majority of them, because we ensured that we would like to support them right from day one, and every meeting I would like to be present in that meeting. I need to give that assurance to them, and that I can do that. And which I've done in the past.
If you have if the people who are there working with you are still sticking to your MxM, then there's no way that you can pull out clients from Omnicom, right? Because that's service well.
No, I'm not saying that I'm going to pull out any kind from Omnicom. I never said that. I'm not even saying.
I'm just joking.
No. It's a see, Pradyuman, at the end of the day, you work because you believe something. We are not 25-year-olds. We are beginning a career, right? In 50 years back, we should have retired and gone to Himalayas by now. But world has changed. So we want to remain. First of all, very important thing is to be happy. We work with people who share your beliefs. You share their beliefs, you share their vision, you share their principles. So you want to be happy. You don't want to be dictated by someone you don't know, with some foreigner sitting somewhere pulling strings and deciding how you should conduct your business. No. And
advertising itself has now taken on new turns, especially with the whole influence of digital. So you have a lot of branded content. You have native content, you have, SEO, SE, SEM work, which is going on, which is how a lot of agencies, a lot of networks are now making their monies on. Is that something that you are looking at addressing in the immediate future?
We are looking at that option. We would like to build that base as well. We already have the people in the system, and we want to strengthen that as well. And we know that digital is the way forward. And it is everybody's interest to ensure that you have a digital product which is available, so that you can ensure that you are no way left behind than the whatever the current agency which they have. So therefore that is the focus area that will, of course, will strengthen that, and will ensure that we'll have the requisite people on board as well.
Yeah, Amit, you do.
So I agree with him that not digital for the sake of digital. I must also share with you, when you look at certain digital startups, companies where the product can be only consumed digitally, right? Whatever the company's business is. I've seen them, right? And a lot of them succeeded, a lot of them didn't succeed, but they wanted to understand the digital transactional behavior. What makes people transact on the digital world? Because there is a set of people who have migrated to the digital world. So we need to see how much of our business requires that digital. So just don't go with a preconceived notion because I have a digital department that must make profit. So therefore, so much of revenue I must write on this client because he's spending so much money. You know what I mean? So digital is part of life. Trust me, today, digital is part of life. But
like any other medium,
right?
I want to just end this conversation with a request that if you need to make a pitch to somebody about yourselves, I have asked this question earlier, but I'm just going to rephrase it and perhaps look at you as to what is it that is going to be different. What is your proposition going to be? Why should people come to you? Is there anything more that you would like to add? And a message to the entire fraternity itself that, hey, you have arrived. Arrived again.
There is nothing which we thought of like, we'll have to write the positioning at this point of time. We just wanted to come and just like, come on board agency who have everything which is available with them. And whether it is in terms of people or whether it is in terms of the infrastructure, whether in terms of like anything matters to the advertising industry or for the client's needs. And we want to strengthen that. We have the expertise, we have the experience, both Amit and I. And in fact, while we started off Omnicom, me and Jess, and we didn't have anything with us, okay, except the OMD brand name, say, for example, we want to launch here in India. But other than that, we didn't even have an office. Nothing which we had. But we built from that. And here we have an infrastructure, we have a good bunch of people, highly intellectual people, the creative people, the digital people, the content people, the script writers, everybody which we have. And yes, we have come from the media background. We wanted to ensure that, yes, we have came here. We wanted to make a mark in the industry again by making network is a very, very big company, and that is what intention is. But at this point of time, to actually officially spell out how are you different, what are you going to do that, and if it is a work in progress, which we'll see that how it goes.
Super. Thank you very much, both of you, for your time.
Thanks, both of you again. Thanks a lot.
What you are doing. I hope we meet again with all the announcements and everything.
Please do the touch up of our face or facial expression. Make us look better than we look.
Y'all don't look. Y'all don't need that. I'm sure the agency is also going to look very good very soon, much better than what it is doing right now. Thank you very much and all the very best.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for your time.